It's sort of like how Miles Davis and Bjork having an illegitimate love child.
You know, I've been a longtime fan of Bjork, and I had previously recorded a Bjork song called Pagan Poetry on my 2007 Resonance release. And I didn't really feel like we captured the essence of the subconscious nature of the music, and I wanted to explore that in detail. And I was listening to the Volta recording for a long time, and just really the recording resonated with me, and I started thinking, okay, who should I involve with this? Who could possibly help me realize this music? And of course, the first person that came to mind was Mark Egan, my bro, and my favorite bass player to perform with. And I knew he would really dig in and develop the creative aspect that I was looking for.
He wanted to go in and do a project, and he called me and asked me if I wanted to be involved. And of course, I was totally wanted to be involved with it. And that was sort of the genesis of how the Constellations project started.
We played with this great trumpet player, Ryan Carniaux, who is an expat that lives in Cologne. And I thought, you know, Ryan would really bring in a European element to the music that wouldn't be present if we used all American musicians.
Well, I met Karl Latham and Mark Egan at a recording session on my birthday in Augsburg, Germany, about 2 years ago. And I think the first take we took was a tune called Slinky by Mark Egan. And I remember after the first take, coming out of the booth where I was recording in, and hugging Mark and Karl, feeling immediately like musical brothers.
And I realized, you know, I play a lot with a great keyboardist, Nick Rolfe, in a band called Big Funk, and in some of the really creative, what people would call out moments of that music, I really saw glimpses of what I thought Nick might bring to the project. And to be honest, I was really surprised with what he did in the studio, and it greatly surpassed my expectations.
It's rare that you can play with musicians and just really not say anything and come up with the type of music that we came up with on this CD. It's very special, very intimate improvising, and very intense in a great way. The studio, and especially the engineer, Jeremy, was crucial in this recording.
And it's great to have an engineer that really is an engineer and doesn't interject himself in the middle of the recording process. He much more created a fertile environment and is an enabler. He just enables you to realize the things that you're thinking about and trying to create.
Well, I've known Karl for a number of years just through other connections that we have and other friends, and we'd gotten together and he was talking about doing some projects, and I was looking to branch out a little bit for the work that I was doing, and he said he was interested in bringing a project to the studio and having it be a certain interpretation of Bjork's music, and I was like, wow, man, that's pretty wild. So I immediately got excited about that and offered up any way that I could help. So Karl, you know, was very gracious and said, well, why don't you engineer it and we'll see what we can get out of it.
Yeah, interpreting Bjork's music was a special challenge for me. I've always, like I said, always been a huge fan of her music and the way she phrases her melodies. And it's always spoken to me as a trumpet player. She has these really long, poetic, expanded, extended sort of melodic ideas. And that's something that I've always sort of taken, listened to, and tried to emulate a bit in my own playing. And this was a big challenge to sort of recreate that. And also sort of to try to get the feeling of the words that she uses, because there's some really deep meaning behind the words, which naturally as a trumpet player you can't, you know, recreate one to one. So I was trying to, on one hand, get the feeling from the poetry involved, and on the other hand, try to not copy one to one her phrasing, but use her phrasing as a model for the way I would interpret her melodies. And that ended up being extremely easy, much easier than I imagined to do, mostly because of the incredible rhythm section playing underneath me while I was playing the melodies. They just laid down such a beautiful carpet sort of for me to set the melody on top of and just, you know, fly with it.
We're looking forward to bringing this band on the road and playing the music for the people.
Yeah.
It's going to be different every night. It's going to be intense, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think a lot of the listeners out there are going to really enjoy it.
Yeah, we go for it.
Yeah, it's really powerful music on the CD.